So this one is gonna be about hiring. So in this fucking time I actually kind of managed to actually do the intro the way I want it to be. And so hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics fucking podcast. And I'm pretty fucking pumped to be here again because I know that this episode is gonna be a pretty great one. Because all the others, not quite all the others, but the ones from yesterday weren't that good. So I didn't feel that good while doing them, which is basically not the case or not the reasons why I'm doing them, I'm doing them because I like to do them. Sorry if there's any pop-up sounds there. I'm very, very sorry. So let's do it like this. So that nobody is somehow disturbing my recording. And if I haven't mentioned, we are going through Rework. Again, this should be the last episode. Finally, some sorta. Because I'm pretty looking forward to going through something else than this one. And maybe also doing just some episodes where I'm just talking about shit that I kind of enjoy. Or I kind of think about quite often. But so as I mentioned, well, it is a long way to go still. And I do hope that I'm going to manage to go through this one today. Because I do not want to just, let you go through so many episodes. Because I think there must easily have been kind of 5 hours of this book. Or of this book summary. Which is a little bit too much for my taste, I would say. But with window, without window, with window, without window, with window, it's working like I want it to work. So hiring and when to hire. Before I'm actually going to go through this one, I would actually say that you should hire when you need it and when you can actually just afford it. Because I kind of think, okay, I haven't been in a position, please don't get me wrong, I'm just telling you what I've heard from other people saying or what I've read and whatsoever. But I kind of wish that they're going to pretty much say the same as I'm going to say right now, which is that you should actually hire as soon as you can afford it, because you can scale through hiring a lot of people. I understand that you can scale through just putting more money into the whole system, whether it be advertisement, whether it be just creating a better product, whether it be just hiring more people, that you can actually manage and do more stuff for more people, more products, more technology, more research, whatsoever. I do think this is just a great way to scale your business. And scaling means, if you do not know, which was actually one of the things that I haven't known for such a long time, and actually see right now that actually when the... Wait a second. Only a second. No? Is this great? Nah. This is great? What the freaking hell? It is actually enormously great when at the back of my my room, my space, when the window is actually closed and so therefore there's no light, it somehow just seems to kind of brighten me up a little bit, because I'm the only object, quote unquote object, that's only kind of exposed somehow. But maybe I'll actually turn on my light as well. Yeah, I'm gonna think, I'll let it be there. Even though it's so fucking disturbing, this fucking light. But never mind. But I'm gonna read the text and what they say about hiring. So when to hire. First up, Fried and Hyman Hansen explain that you should always try the job out yourself before you hire someone for the role, which is somehow true, I'd say, for all the entrepreneurs out there, so really entrepreneurs who actually want to scale their business, I would say no. And I would definitely say, okay, as soon as you can afford it, do it. Because it's just, as I said, for the scaling process, a pretty great way to do. But for all other, business people and small businesses, I'd say definitely do it yourself at the first place. Because I would say most of the time the small businesses and, the business people actually often do not or cannot afford actually hiring a person. which is incredibly expensive, I would say. I don't know how this is, kind of working in just, in the States or whatsoever, but at my place, you do just have to pay a lot of taxes and a lot of things for actually hiring someone, or when someone is just working for you, whether it's for healthcare, because we have a healthcare just for everyone. There are a lot of taxes you have to pay for the healthcare, and definitely for the wage and the salary they're getting and whatsoever. So that's quite a lot. And why is he even so fucking loud? Sorry. It is important that you understand when a job entails, what the job looks like and how you would like it to be done. It helps with making decisions around hours, salary, and I've actually read that one. Yeah, I've read that one. So should I go through it? I am going through it quite really quickly. So it helps with making decisions around hours, salary, and the kind of person you are looking for. It also might make you realize that you're completely capable of doing it yourself and don't actually need to hire anyone new. The authors explain that hiring should never be done for pleasure. It should only be done to eliminate pain. Don't hire someone simply because it would be nice nice not to have to do certain elements of the job. And when faced with extra work that is a burden and isn't getting done, consider other alternatives before you jump in and hire someone. Look at different software options, automations, and consider the consequences of not doing it all together. Totally true. And then at this point I was telling people about outsourcing, because I do think to some degree outsourcing is a pretty great way to scale your business, or to just, kind of level up your business, I'd say, just. And because it's, first of all, extremely cheaply, and there are just people outside there on the internet or wherever they are who have incredible skills. It is just amazing, I'd say. But yeah, I'm sorry. Why isn't this working like I... Now I hope it's working. I think so. Problems start when you have more people than you need. You start inventing work to keep everyone busy. Artificial work leads to artificial projects, and those artificial projects lead to real cost and complexity. Makes sense. Totally makes sense, because if you really have projects that, aren't kind of paid somehow, and, you just make them so that the people that are working for you have something to work on, it's incredibly just... I think it's just incredibly expensive. Yeah, expensive. Should I actually do it like this? Is this better? Oops. Well, it's so fucking bright. It's so fucking disturbing. Could actually do it like this. I'm doing it like this. It's so fucking disturbing. Yeah, I can't see anything because of the fucking light there. But yeah, so what to look for? When you decide that someone needs to be hired, there are a few things that Fried and Hyman Hansen recommend you consider. There's not a huge amount of difference between someone with 6 months of experience and someone with 6 years. A little bit of experience is usually required, but don't go overboard demanding years of service. I don't know, I do kind of feel like people, maybe especially in complex industries, so people with a lot of experience might be a little bit better for the job than people who do not have any experiences, even though I just have to say, if you do have, 6 years of experience, but you are working the same job and you're doing the same shit over and over again, it's quite no experience, it's quite only the same shit over and over. And on the other hand, if there's someone with 6 months of experience and he was working for 6 different companies in these 6 months, is totally a lot of experience. And it's totally just a lot of value for the company he's just applying to. And don't get too caught up in education. People who went to the best school, had the best grades, and graduated from the best colleges don't necessarily make good workers. It just means that the education system was good for them. Look beyond people's grades and consider what their personality and skills will bring to the job, which is incredibly true. And you can definitely see it when you're just, looking at Elon Musk. Yeah, it's his name. So when you're looking at Elon Musk, he actually says that, he doesn't actually look at, what is it called actually? I don't know what it is called, but the resume, is it the resume? I do think it was the resume. So he doesn't even look at it. And I do think the personal skills and, personal skills, which is, empathy and, the emotional intelligence and also the skills someone has that have nothing to do with, what grades you have. And it's completely true at my point of view that for some people, the school system and, the whole system around school, whatever you want to call it, is just working for some people, and for some people it's not working. The problem there is that I'm seeing is that a lot of people then just think like, I'm stupid because I'm not good at school or whatsoever, which is complete bullshit. It does just mean, okay, it is not working for you. It doesn't mean that you're dumb. It does just mean maybe, you are not the person who is just, learning that good. If there's someone in front of you teaching you something or talking about something, and you might just be better when you're just, sitting at home and just read a few books or just, talk to people who are actually in the industry and learn this way. Maybe this is your way to learn. There are a lot of ways to just learn things, which is just, which is for me just a little bit of pity that there are so many people who are not good at school and then think like, okay, I'm dumb or I'm stupid only because they're not good at school or in school. So when faced with potential employees, always choose the person with the best writing skills. Writing is so important no matter what the role is. Being able to write well also means that their communication and thinking is clear and they are easy to understand. Good writers fit every role. This is just something that hurts me because, I'm sorry for not showing you, because I'm just a really, really bad writer. Not necessarily in terms of my how I just write, if it's complex or not, but I do have to say often I do just write so complex things that I even do not understand them myself. But it's more about my spelling. I can't spell for shit. I don't know, I just give a fuck about it. So the problem is, when I'm especially writing something in German, I do write something and then I notice, okay, there is a mistake and I should probably just, kind of do something against it. But then I just move on. Writing the text or writing whatever I'm writing and basically give a fuck about what I'm writing. The problem there is also that I would say in terms of spelling, this is not a problem in nowadays life because we have so many just, spell checking programs and, all these kind of things that just actually solve these problems. But actually in terms of the communication, I understand what they are saying because actually being able to communicate with this certain person in a great way so that, you understand them and they understand you is just really good. If you're just the boss and their employee and, if they do not understand what you're meaning or if you don't understand what they are meaning, then it is just a problem, I would say. And this is just, it's just, I think, wasting a lot of time, especially. So don't restrict yourself by only hiring someone local. Technology has provided the freedom to work from anywhere. So you can hire the best person for the job no matter where they live. Totally. If possible, test, even though I do have to say, okay, if it's someone who is just, on the other side of the planet, it might get a little bit strange because they actually have to wake up in the night and work for you in the night, which is, some people would do this. If you're actually a great company, some people will definitely do that. But yeah, okay, at the end, this is something that's a problem, quote unquote problem for the actually employee and not for the employer, but yeah. So if possible, test out your potential employees, get them on board for a small mini project or short-term contract. See how they work and what they produce, and you can decide if they are worth keeping on long-term or not. Definitely true, and a funny story there. I actually once was applying in my summer holidays, which was, an incredibly just, short-term decision. I just decided, because I felt a little bit guilty, because my girlfriend was working and I wasn't working, and then I decided, okay, I want to get a job as well. I want to get it wasn't an internship, it was just a little, summer job, And at the end, I actually was working in the marketing department. I don't know, it was somehow marketing, but at the end it wasn't much of marketing, rather just getting data and just putting the data into a spreadsheet that I actually can work with it. But the funny thing is now that I think this was just a great experience for me, because I actually also had to search for long tail keywords for them to actually market, I'd say. And I actually got them a lot of data, and I by now know how to get these datas and how to get the telephone numbers and the emails and the names of all the people who might be relevant for a company to just market to. And yeah, I got paid quite okay, I'd say, for a month. So it was only a month, and I got paid, what was it? I don't fucking know. Maybe somehow like 300 to 400 euros, which is basically the same in dollars as well, which is quite decent. So I do not really want to say this was nothing. It was something, totally. And yeah, it was great. The damages and apologies. Own up. Bad things happen, and it is incredibly important to own your own mistakes. Fright and Hyman Hansen explain that the story is going to get out regardless, so it may as well come from you. This way you can address the problem and ensure that the information you share is correct. This will eliminate the risk of rumors and false information being leaked. Pretty good advice. Because I would say, it's just a great advice. Actually, just being like, okay, this was also something that was standing in How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, that you should actually, if you're making a mistake and if you did something wrongly, then you should just empathetically and totally empathetically and just really, really mean it, say sorry and be so sorry. The moment, and he explained with a short story. I once told you this one, but I'm now quite feared that I'm actually not going to finish this whole thing, which it might be, I can. No, I can. The point of the story was that if you're just saying so sorry, or if you're being so sorry empathetically and whatsoever, the other person just has to be just like, it's okay, it's totally okay, just move on, I don't mind. The other person has to be, because you're so sorry and you're acting so sorry that they have no other opportunity or other possibility, rather than being nice and saying, okay, it's all okay, just move on, we'll solve the problem. It's okay. Because it has to do something with importance. A lot of people just feel then important to be like the nice person, to be like the kind person, being like, okay, everything is good, just work on, and we're just, gonna solve this problem a little later. But if you're not being so sorry, and if you're being like, it was my problem, but I don't give a fuck, they will just crush you. They will totally crush you and fuck you, because then they have the importance or the feeling of being important through actually fucking you. And this is the point. And I just really liked, and I would totally suggest you going through at least a summary of How to Win Friends and Influence People. I might actually be doing one, even though it just would be such a long one. Maybe I'm doing one just in the next few days. Today I think actually not, because I do not have the time for that. But I think I'm gonna do one, and because it was such an incredible book. And I by now do have certain problems to actually find for myself what kind of learner I am. Because there are people who like to go into school. I'm a good student. I wouldn't say that I'm a bad one, but I don't know if this is the best way for me to learn. I don't know, and there's also the debate between should you read books or should you either just, listen to audiobooks and whatsoever, because there are so many ways to do something or to learn something that I don't know. I don't know, just books for me have worked somehow, because there is so such a few informations I do just have remembered or do have memorized. But actually reading it is somehow, yeah, I'm not the best reader, I would say. I'm not the person who is just, I don't know. I like to read on one hand, and on the other hand, I totally hate it, some sort of, because I really do not just preference it to some degree. But yeah. So a good apology accepts responsibility. It has no conditional if phrase attached. It shows people that the bug stops with you, and then it provides real details about what happened and what you're doing to prevent it from happening again. It seeks a way to make things right. I'm just really willing to go through this. No, okay. A good apology accepts responsibility. It has no conditional if phrase attached. It shows people that a bug stops with you, and then it provides real details about what happened and what you're doing to prevent it from happening again. It seeks a way to make things right. Great one. Customer service. I do think this is incredibly important. We all know that customers are king, but this is especially important when it comes to customer services. Fried and Hyman Hansen emphasize the importance of speed when it comes to addressing customer issues. If you can try and resolve any problems as fast as possible, a bad situation can quickly be diffused. Don't let issues fester and get out of hand. That's totally true. And that's totally true. Having a great customer support, and actually customer support that is so fucking fast, is incredibly valuable for me as a consumer. I don't consume too much things, but if, there were actually, I think, only 2 times I actually needed a customer support. The first time was actually, I think, a month or 2 ago, where I actually hit up Anchor, which is my platform where I do just distribute my podcast on. It is an incredible great platform, and the support is just enormously great. I think I wrote them at 2 p.m. or something, and they wrote me back at 4 p.m. So only 2 fucking hours. And this is incredibly. And they were so nice. The person who was just talking to me was such an incredibly nice person. I'm just so thankful for just their customer support. And this really just gets me to like the company even more than I'm even just liking it beforehand, because the product is just so good. But the problem is, if the customer service isn't that good, which happened to me as well, even though the product is good, I just feel like, okay, they just give a fuck about me and, whatsoever. So I think it is really important. Really, really important. And culture is also important, as they say. So having a great culture in your business is really important. Fried and Hyman Hansen explain that culture isn't created overnight. It depends over time as a result of behavior. They explain that the way you treat your staff is how they will end up behaving. Treat them with respect and trust them, and you'll cultivate a trusted culture. Show them how you treat your customers, and in return they will treat the customers the same. And this is totally true, and this was also something that is just so staying in my mind, because I once was going through Sam Walton and his somehow biography of actually creating Walmart, and it was interesting because he at first wasn't just actually treating his customers or staff right, and then he began to actually just really take care of his customers, because he understood, okay, they are valuable to me and they are the source of my money, and I just need them to actually have the business. And then he realized, okay, to actually somehow take care of my customers as well as I want to, I just really have to take care of my staff as well, because at the end they are just working with the customers and not quite me. And therefore he just really took care of them, and then they also just took care of their customers, which is important. Customers are really king. So here are a few things that Fried and Hyman Hansen recommend you take note of when considering your company's culture. Don't look for a rockstar employee. These people aren't the people you hire. You create rockstars by providing trust, autonomy, and responsibility to employees. Give them the opportunity to develop themselves and watch them bloom. 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 Don't treat your employees as children. When you request approval for just about anything, your staff are left feeling unempowered and weak. They are also likely to stop thinking for themselves. Instead, give them the freedom and the work they produce. Instead, give them the freedom and the work they produce will be significantly better. Don't overwork your staff. Ensure that they get to go home at 5 p.m. You want people to have a life outside of work, and if they have things to do after 5 p.m., then they are more likely going to be motivated to get the work done promptly and efficiently. A couple of words you should avoid using in business are need, must, can't, easy, just, only, and fast. These words are dangerous and encourage tension. Eliminate conflict and problems by avoiding these words. Definitely. Something that I was just going through yesterday on my own because I was just interested in it. It's getting a little dark. No, I think it's okay. I think it's quite okay. Words matter, and the words you're using actually really, really matter. I do not know why actually, but I do think we're so incredibly sensible, and whatever, just creatures, that we actually just really, really just, look at the words people use. And if it is actually a word that we somehow find like, too aggressive or too somehow attacking ourselves, like, certain words might not be liked by you and some other words might not be liked by me. So it's just incredibly just important at my point of view that you actually just look at the words you're using, because you either hurt someone or you please someone, even though it's just a slightly different word. Also avoid using the term ASAP, so as fast as possible. Everyone knows that work should be done as soon as possible, so stop pointing out the obvious. By using it too regularly, you also eliminate any importance for tasks, and when something really does need to be done promptly, people won't take it seriously. So by using it too regularly, you also eliminate any importance for tasks, and when something really does need to be done promptly, people won't take it seriously. Makes sense, totally makes sense. Parting words from the authors. So if you want to do something, you've got to do it now. You can't put it on a shelf and wait for 2 months to get around to it. You can't just say, you'll do it later. Later, you won't be pumped up about it anymore. Inspiration is a magical thing, a productivity multiplier, a motivator. But it won't wait for you. Inspiration is a now thing. If it grabs you, grab it right back and put it to work. Well, I actually just have to take a screenshot of that because it is true, and it is actually how I've always lived and how I've always done the things that I wanted to do, because I actually always started to do the things immediately, or at least right this day. I actually just pointed out so often, but I'm gonna say it as well or again. I always done the things that I wanted to do at the same exact day, because I knew, maybe tomorrow I wouldn't be as pumped about it than today. Maybe tomorrow I'd be like, okay, maybe it isn't that a good idea. Maybe I should do something else. Maybe it's not the best day to actually do it. And so therefore the best moment is to start either right now or at least that day. Because I kind of feel like, the next day is something completely different than this day. And for me, it feels like doing it today, and the chances of, actually doing it are today way higher than actually tomorrow, because nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow. But for today, you can somehow just often, not always, sometimes, let's stick with sometimes, you can sometimes determine what's, going to happen today. So please, whatever you're inspired to do, whatever you're willing to do, whether it's your goal, your dream, whatsoever, break it down to a very, very small piece and start today. Or at least, start today. Or now. And yeah. And actually, we came to the conclusion and the key takeaways. I think I'm not going to go through... No, I'm gonna go through that. never mind, I'll do this. The action steps. There are, what the fuck? There's a whole load of advice in this book. It is worth selecting a few of your favorites and actioning those. Remember the common themes from this book. Anyone can get into business. Getting started is what's important. Don't waste time on minute details. If you have an idea, start actioning it immediately. Don't overcommit. Focus on doing one thing really well rather than doing 10 things badly. Be productive. Focus on what you're working on. Avoid interruptions and break big projects down into smaller, actionable tasks. Less is more, and it is important to have a healthy culture within your company. Totally important. Then the conclusion and the key takeaways. The business work looks very different today than it did 20 years ago. So much more is possible with so much less. Anyone can be in business. Mistakes are likely to happen, but they aren't required for success. You don't need to fail before you can succeed. Definitely true. I think it's even a 50-50, possibility that you either fail or win. And even though if you fail, just go on, learn from the failures you did or the mistakes you did, and just move on. Please do not get crippled by some mistakes you once made or did or whatsoever. Stick with the good, focus on the good, and you will get the good. You can have a small business and not want to grow. Totally, if you don't want to, you don't want to. Getting started is what is important. Ideas are all good and well, but you need to execute them. Don't look for outside money unless you really have to. You can do a lot with less than you think. See constraints and limitations as an opportunity to be creative and work with what you have got, which is actually the thing that I'm doing. I'm using just my fucking phone as a microphone and a fucking selfie stick with some weights on the end of it. So that I'm actually not having to hold my phone all the fucking time. And before I actually just saw that my girlfriend has one of these shitty selfie sticks, I actually always did it like having a really big tower of books in front of fucking me and actually record it that way. Actually just, then putting my phone onto this one and recording it this way. The quality is great for what I'm doing right now. I'm just working with what I can. I actually have my own fucking softbox made. I do have a very, very bright light there and a paper tissue, over it so that the light somehow gets broken. You can really do a lot with what you have. Also vlogs. You do not need a fucking camera to do vlogs. You can also just, use your smartphone, make a few videos, just cut them down with any free software out there and put them out. I do think that if you're a great storyteller with video and if you're a good cutter, you do not necessarily need the best software or the best, the best camera or equipment or whatsoever. You can do a lot with just very, very inexpensive things. When building a product, focus on doing a really good job. Even if that means you can't do everything all at once, just do one thing and do it well. When building a business, focus on the epicenter, the part that is not going to change. Don't focus on the smaller, unimportant details. Being productive is important. Avoid interruptions, only have meetings when absolutely necessary and break projects down into smaller, actionable tasks. Don't copy the competition. You miss out on the valuable step of learning about the product and how it works. Sometimes less is more. Instead of trying to offer more features than your competition, focusing on offering less. Just do it really, really well. Consider teaching as a way to reach your audiences. Also consider giving away a little for free. Give your customer a taste of your product, service, and have them coming back for more. Hiring someone should not be your first move. The smaller the team, the more productive you can be. First, consider doing the job yourself, getting some software or automation to do it, or don't do it at all. If you do end up needing to hire someone, don't get caught up in qualifications, location, experience. Look for the right person for the right job, regardless of the history of location. Or, all the things that they just mentioned. If mistakes happen, own up immediately, deal with customer complaints as quickly as possible. The culture within the workplace is important. Set the example you want others to follow, and treat your employees with respect. Give them freedom and don't treat them like children. And with that being said, actually moving to the Austria screen, I do actually haven't looked up yet if Austria is even an English word. But nevertheless, this is the end of the episode. I do hope you get a lot out of this whole book, and I do think so. It was an incredible episode, I would say. It just really went well, which is something that I'm quite happy about, because it hasn't always been like this. It is always nice to then have an episode that went just incredibly well, with incredible load of information, which is very important for me. I really hate putting out stuff where I do just know, okay, there is not much in it, or at least I didn't just package it the right way, whether it's me just being too fast, or actually me being even too slow and not getting too much, or, to not getting any information into the whole product at the end than I want to, or as I want to. But yeah, with this being said, I hope you get the best health, wealth, happiness, and success. I wish you the best, and please do not forget about thinking your legacy and about how you're going to be remembered by the people, and please give back to those, or to all the people, if they've given you something back before or not, doesn't matter. Please just really give something to the people. I love you.